in a situation like that, you might want to save the stronger spell, because you don't know when you're next going to get to rest. But it's really a matter of personal preference and a little bit of luck. Good. I'm glad you're enjoying it so far. It'll be really fun to actually get the campaign really started. Although I absolutely love this part of creating the characters and the backstories and figuring out the feel and the look and the mannerisms and which dice I'm going to use. Honestly, I've created more characters than I'll ever be able to play. I really love this part. And I'm glad you're enjoying it too. It's just really cool to me that even in this world with all this magic and craziness, there are things that empowered people and unempowered people share. You know, that there are these through lines from my life before my powers manifested to my new life as a part of the magical world. It's nice to be able to tie experiences with magic back to positive, unempowered memories. Because a lot of times that's not the case. Yeah. Me too. I just wanted to say that it's really nice having somebody else in my life who understands what it was like, at least in some way. I mean, I know everyone's experience is different. I'm not trying to directly equate either of our experiences, because that would be really short-sighted, but just the experiences that we it's nice having someone who is also human born. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not great at making friends. I've definitely have made some, and they're great. I mean, my D&D friends are all really cool people, and there are a couple of the other guidance counselors who I'd say are friends, or at least we're friendly with one another. I mean, I guess if I was in a social situation with them around and I had to introduce them for whatever reason, I'd introduce them as a coworker, not my friend. But I think that's one way of kind of judging your relationship with a person when they're an acquaintance at work. Like, just think about it. If you didn't have any time to think about it and you had to say your gut response, would you say that this is my friend so-and-so, or would you say this is my coworker so-and-so? Because for people you're more close to, I mean, you might say something like, oh, this is my friend so-and-so, we work together. Whereas someone you aren't close to, you might just say, this is my coworker so-and-so, and then the conversation go from there. What was I talking about? Human born. Being human born. You being human born, and me being human born, and us being human born friends who have that in common. sorry. What, what I'm trying to say is that none of my other friends are human-born. The few times when it was relevant, they were nothing but kind and helpful, like when there was a reference I missed or context I didn't have, they explained it and they didn't make me feel bad for not knowing, which is something that I appreciate, because God knows the people who aren't my friends have done and said things that weren't handled like that, whether intentional or not, and to be honest, the unintentional ones, they almost hurt even more, because that just speaks to a larger issue about where the magical world is on a cultural scale that feels like it's insurmountable, and it's scary to be a voice speaking out against that when it can feel like you're the only one saying anything, and you're yelling into a hurricane, one that could turn and rip you to shreds if the person isn't open-minded, or if you don't have any kind of support behind you, and it can feel like it's easier to just let it slide because you don't want to spend every second fighting, and when it's already hard enough to hear it, it just feels like you shouldn't also have to be the one to fight against it all the time, and it's just tiring. It's exhausting. And it's really nice to have someone else know firsthand just how tiring it can be. Not in a co-ruminating, wallowing kind of way, just in a you understand kind of way. In a way where we can support each other just by being able to show the other person that we're making it through, that we're doing our jobs and living our lives and fixing what we can fix, and just that act of seeing another person who's faced with the same realities you're facing and who comes from the same kind of background that you came from, it can mean the world to see someone like you just making it through. I mean, you are a breath of fresh air. Oh, God. Pardon the pun. God damn it. You are a breath of fresh air in my life just by virtue of being unapologetically yourself. Oh. I was afraid that may have been the case. Well, there was something in the way that you answered when I asked about how your family had taken it when your powers manifested. I mean, you answered so fast and with such finality that it had gone fine, and there was a look about you when you said it. Something in the eyes. And when I told you about about what had happened with me. About how it had been for me growing up. It seemed to resonate with you more than it might for someone whose magic manifestation had actually gone fine. When you said you understood, I could feel how much you meant it. Hey, we don't need to go into details if you don't want to. Not right now. It's okay. Just know that same way that you understand what it was like for me, that understanding goes both ways. And if you ever do want to talk about it, I'm here. You're welcome. But thank you for being there when I needed to talk. And thank you for showing me a patience that I'm not usually given. I'm not stupid. I know that talking to me when I get going and circling could be annoying for people. I understand that. I do. But I'm working on myself. On becoming more confident and getting a better handle on this runaway train I call a brain. And it really means a lot to have someone around who is supportive of that and who has been from day one. Yeah. Well, there is one other thing. It's kind of complicated to talk about because I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it, and the way that some of those parts interact with one another is kind of a mess, or at least they could become a mess. I guess it's not really a guarantee or anything, but there's the potential for a kind of a conflict of interest sort of thing. Well, I mean, that's not exactly the right wording, and then I guess it would depend on how you feel about it, but I mean, there are also probably administrative implications to it, but I mean, then again, this administration is so woefully underdeveloped in a lot of ways that, I mean, for all I know, they don't actually have any kind of policies in place regarding something like this, but even if they do, or even if they don't, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because we're not even to that part of the conversation yet, but I'm also kind of terrified of that part of the conversation, so at this point it almost just feels like I'm talking so that I can stall having to get to that part, but that can't work forever, because literally the entire point of bringing this up was to talk about that part, and literally just need to get out one goddamn sentence. And I can't even do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm getting upset. I tried to plan this. I tried to think of how I could do something like this, and it just doesn't matter how many different ways I imagine it. It just always comes back to this anxiety that feels like you shoved a car battery in my chest and hooked the fucking thing into my veins. I'm literally shaking. Fuck. I'm so sorry that I'm getting worked up like this. Oh god, I feel like I'm making a scene or something. I don't know how to say it other than to just say it, so I'm just gonna fucking say it. I'm just gonna tell you that I've had a crush on you for as long as I've known you. Literally since the first time I met you. The first time you came into my office, all I could think about was how amazing you looked and what a cool person you seemed like. And then every hour that we spent together just reinforced every one of those thoughts. I've learned that you were really just as cool and amazing as you seemed. And I learned that you were driven and motivated and caring and open and strong, and that you had an incredible heart, and that even after everything that had happened to you, you had an amazing capacity to trust people and share yourself with them and to be there for the other people in your life, even when you were fighting against a million other things. And I thought that was so admirable, and all I wanted was to make things easier for you, because you shouldn't have to do all that alone. You should have people beside you who support you and care about you, and I consider myself so lucky to be one of those people. And I didn't know how to say that I wanted to be more than just your friend, because I would never want it to sound like I wasn't happy to just be your friend, because I am. I'm so happy to be your friend, and yes, if somehow you wanted to be more too, then that would be incredible. But I just never wanted to seem like that was all I wanted, because it's not at all, and I just what does that mean? Does that mean what I think it does, because you kissed me right after I told you that I liked you, and I don't think that's how you'd usually shut someone up if you didn't also like them too, but now I'm scared that I'm misunderstanding, and then Okay, I'm breathing. I'm breathing, I promise. Okay. Can you just, can you say the words, though? Because, I really need to hear them right now, because this doesn't feel real, and my brain's going crazy, imagining a billion different ridiculous scenarios that could explain why you would kiss me right now and still not want to be with me. Not the way I mean when I say be with me, and I just really need to hear. Really? You really like me too? Holy fucking shit. Fuck. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. I can't. kind of lightheaded. You really mean it? Holy shit. I feel like I'm on another planet right now. Whew. Before we go any further, I should say that the administrative implications that I was talking about are the fact that I'm your guidance counselor, and I don't know that it's appropriate for me to be both your guidance counselor and your boyfriend. Oh, God, that's weird to say. Good, weird, good. just weird. Anyway, it's kind of messy for me to be your guidance counselor and your boyfriend. So if we really are going to be together, then we should probably have you transferred to another counselor. But I can still advise you unofficially on how to set up your schedule and stuff. And I know all the powers and limits that we have as counselors. So if they ever push back against anything you ask of them, I can tell you if it's actually a legitimate argument or if they're just trying to avoid more work or something like that. So in that sense, you'll be in just as good of a spot as you were. It's just I wouldn't want there to be any raised eyebrows about us being together, because I'm so fucking happy to be with you, and I don't want anything trying to drag that down. Not that what anyone else thinks even matters. It's just I feel like I'm supposed to be mad that you keep cutting me off, but when it comes in the form of a kiss, I don't have any complaints. Holy shit. I can't believe this is real. This is amazing. Fuck yeah. Oh God, I need to stop cussing. I'm sorry. Although, I mean, you could always help me stop with another kiss.